Welcome back. The news in full. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi on Monday asserted the importance of continuous implementation of the national project to ensure Nile River streams remain clear from encroachments. The president's remarks came in a meeting on Monday with Minister of Irrigation and Water Resources Hani Swalem, the presidential advisor for urban planning, the head of the Armed Forces Engineering Authority, and the executive director of Egypt's future Agency for Sustainable Development. Presidential spokesman Ambassador Mohammed al-Shenawi said that during the meeting, President al-Sisi asserted the importance of following up updates of major agricultural projects, notably the new Delta project in close cooperation between the government and Egypt's future agency. Al-Shenawi added that the meeting also discussed means of enhancing and raising efficiency of water resources in order to support national agricultural production projects. Polling stations closed on Monday night in the first day of the second phase of the House of Representatives elections inside Egypt. Addressing a conference at the end of the first day of voting at home, Executive Chief of the National Election Authority, Councillor Ahmed Binderi, said that the authority observed a heavy voter turnout at the closing hours of the vote. Binderi added that the authority tracked some breaches to balloting. However, he asserted that voting had not been hindered and ran smoothly and regularly across most polling stations. The second phase of legislative elections are being held in 13 governorates. Around 35 million voters are eligible to cast ballots in 73 constituencies in some 5,287 polling stations, in which voting runs from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 1,316 candidates are running for 141 individual seats at the House of Representatives, and one list is vying for the list seats in each of the two groups of governorates. And President Sisi had been at the forefront of senior state officials who cast their ballots on Monday in the second phase of the elections. The president voted at Mustafa Yusri Amira polling station in Cairo's district of Heliopolis. The First Lady, Mrs. Intisar Sisi, also cast her ballot at the same polling station. Senior state officials and top religious figures also were also keen on casting ballots in the second phase of the legislative elections. The votes witnessed the participation of a number of ministers, including the Minister of Sports and Youth, Ashraf Subhi, Minister of Endowments, Usama al-Azhari, Minister of Finance, Ahmed Kuchuk, Minister of Supply and Internal Trade, Sharif Farouk, Minister of Electricity and Renewable Energy, Mahmoud Ismat, amongst others. Senior Senate Speaker Assam Farid, along with the Mufti of the Republic, Dr. Nadir Ayed, and Pope of Alexandria and Patriarch of St. Mark's Cathedral, Pope Tawadros II, in addition to Chief of the National Media Authority, Ahmed al-Muslimani, also cast their ballots in the parliamentary elections. Amir, thank you very much. The Egyptian writer and journalist based in Holland. Thank you very much. Now back to the news. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli on Monday departed from Angola after taking part on behalf of President al-Sisi in the opening session of the 7th African Union-European Union Summit in Angola. Madbouli delivered Egypt's speech at a session entitled Peace, Security, Governance and Multilateralism, where he reiterated the state's continued support for all efforts aimed at preserving peace, security and stability in the continent based on a more balanced and fairer international system. He noted that Egypt firmly believes that African security is part and parcel of Egypt's security and that of the world, being evident in the successive crises that hit the continent and impacted European security. The Prime Minister stressed the necessity of building a real partnership between the two continents based on mutual respect and joint interests. This edition of the summit commemorates the 25th anniversary of a partnership agreement between the two unions, which helped boosting economic, political and social ties. The two-day summit brings into focus the most prominent challenges to world peace, security and economic growth, such as illegal migration and climate change. The summit reviews the current opportunities to boost economic integration and cooperation between Europe and the continent. Now, on the sidelines of the summit, Prime Minister Madbouli held talks with Angola's President, João Lourenço, which tackled means of fostering joint cooperation through the activation of previously inked memoranda of cooperation between both countries. The Prime Minister stressed the importance of continued consultations with Angola to ensure the success of its presidency of the African Union towards achieving sustainable peace, security and development in the continent. At a meeting with Croatian Prime Minister Andrej Plenković, Madbouli hailed the promoted bilateral cooperation on all levels, as well as the two countries' shared agreement on different regional and international issues. The Croatian Prime Minister, meanwhile, expressed gratitude for the Egyptian hospitality during his recent visit to Egypt, hailing the Grand Egyptian Museum's rich collections of ancient Egyptian antiquities. Separately, the Prime Minister said that Egypt deeply appreciates the notable progress in bilateral ties with Poland and looks forward to further promote them, especially on economic level. Madbouli made these remarks in a meeting with Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk. Minister of Foreign Affairs Badr Abdulati on Monday held talks with Ghana's Vice President Nana Opoku, stressing Egypt's keenness on boosting bilateral cooperation on the economic and political levels. The meeting touched on African issues of mutual concern and efforts for achieving stability, security and development in the continent. In a meeting with Mauritania's Foreign Affairs and Cooperation with Africa Minister Mohammed Salim Wild Merzoug, Abdulati said that Egypt cherishes the close ties with Mauritania and expressed his keenness to the continued cooperation through activating joint committees. To the same end, the top diplomat met Djibouti Foreign Minister Abdul Qadir Hussein Omar, pressing for continued coordination to the implementation of joint projects. Abdulati also stressed the importance of commitment to international law governing the shared water resources. As he met his Ivorian counterpart, Kachu Lyon Adom, the foreign minister conveyed President Assisi's greetings to the Côte d'Ivoire President Alassane Ouattara over his recent election win. The two top diplomats exchanged points of views regarding the developments in the Sahel and West Africa regions. The business segments of Panorama in full. Egypt's stock market indices fluctuated on Monday amid selling and purchasing operations by optimistic investors on both directions. The benchmark EGX 30 index shed 1.78%, closing at 39,725 points. But the EGX 70, the small and medium share index, gained 0.2% to reach 12,382 points. And the broader EGX 100 index shed a mere 0.13%, closing at 16,347 points. Market capitalization lost 8 billion Egyptian pounds to close at 2,878 billion amid transactions of about 68.6 billion pounds.